Live from the legendary podcast bus in sunny California, it's America's funniest new podcast.
Oh my God, what are you doing?
We think it's funny. And now, here are your hosts, Mark Schiff and Daniel LaBelle.
It was so friggin' memorable. Well, thank you for coming in.
Yeah,
Good
can
to
I
see
say
ya.
one quick thing about being memorable? I'm a halfway serious guy, you know that.
Yeah.
But one of the things, it's hard being on the road away from your children, right? Like it's hard doing common. But I feel like I try to do big moments. That's my one thing I feel like I'm good at. And you just telling that story, like that's a while ago, but you remember it like it was yesterday. I feel like those big moments might be just as important as 15 minutes each night, you know?
Absolutely. Father and son stories, mother and son, whatever. Those are, we don't know what, they don't, I'm a parent. I don't know which ones are going to stick with them,
Yeah.
but they got them.
Yeah, I'm big into memories. I'm also big into rationalizing being away.
How many kids you got?
I have 3.
Right. Well, you did that great. We'll talk about it later, but I got 3 too. I got 3 boys.
Nice.
And I got 3.
Do you got 3 too?
I got 3 too.
Come on, dude.
How about that?
So if we were...
Last time you saw me?
I'm looking at you. I didn't know
0.
if there's a bit.
No.
You're being completely serious?
Since you saw me, 3 kids.
Holy crap.
No, you didn't have 3 since he
I
said...
had 0 last time he came
Seriously?
over my house. Yeah.
Wow.
So he came over
And he
6
was
years ago, and my oldest is 5. So I have 3, and last time he came over, 0.
Did you start fucking as the door was shutting when I was leaving? Or was it, did you wait a minute?
Well, he's actually the uncle of those kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
quick,
still counts.
quick note. We'll take the line again, but we don't. It's on the clean network.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Did you start banging as the door was closing?
yeah,
Or was it-
exactly.
There you go. That's good.
Come on.
So how you been? I've known Jamie, by the way, forever and ever. He used to come. Do you remember? He used to come to my
Of course.
I had an apartment in Times Square, and we had a comics poker game.
It was amazing.
And Jamie was a regular at my poker game.
Fun times. Of course I remember. I used to love playing poker. I don't do anything, like, you know, you have children now and you didn't. I
Yeah.
don't do anything fun anymore. I don't
Right.
play poker. I don't drink.
Right.
I don't smoke. I've kind of cleaned it all up.
Right.
Wow.
But I mean, I think all of us have at this point.
I think so.
I'm still in the cleaning process, but Mark is probably the cleanest guy you'll ever meet.
Yeah?
Well, I have a joke like what you just said. I said I stopped smoking, stopped drinking, I got married, I'm dead.
When I go to Vegas, like last time I saw you was in Vegas, I feel like every sign is telling me things I used to do. It's like drinks, girls. I'm like, I don't do it anymore.
So we share a similar thing. I'm sober myself, and I'm and you're 11 years.
You know, I'll be honest with you, I don't know the date because I had a, believe they call it a relapse. I had like a little, when I got divorced, I took a little break from not drinking. I was like, it's been so long, Danny. I go, you can,
Yeah.
I just have like a glass of wine with dinner. You can't. I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
I don't mean you can't, but I had like a glass of wine. I was dating this girl and I just was like, I need something to like, you know, just, and it worked for like 2 weeks. I go, I can drink like a normal person.
Right.
And then on the way home, I was like, I should get more wine to drink for the drive home.
Yeah.
It quickly spins out of control. And I quit again. But it's been like 11 years overall, if you don't count the blip.
Right.
Do you count the blip or you don't count the blip?
You're supposed to, but I don't care. I feel like, what
Whatever
do you think?
it is, you know, you're not drinking and you feel better and you look terrific. So
Yeah.
that's the deal. And I've not had that happen to me. I've been very lucky. But a lot of people do. And,
Yeah.
you know, we don't shoot our wounded.
Yeah.
What does that mean? We don't shoot our wounded.
I think he just changed subjects to war. I don't even think that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, I don't
know.
what does that mean?
No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
But spell it out for the idiots like
Somebody
me.
goes back out and they're drinking
Yeah.
and they're kind of wounded, you know, like something, it hurts, you know, something happened. And then we don't throw them away. Like we don't want to.
You don't ostracize. You don't.
No,
You don't
yeah.
ostracize
You don't make them
them.
feel
You don't
guilty
wanna-
or
yeah.
bad. You know,
You just say, hey, look, what happened. Welcome back.
that's right.
Yeah. So I got 11 years. I do one relapse on Saturday nights. I do a Saturday night relapse each week. No,
Every week?
I'm just kidding. It was one time. It's one time.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you. Back at
We
you.
were much younger back then in Times Square in my apartment. We were all much younger, and
Yeah.
we hadn't figured out yet that all the bad things are bad.
How
That's
did you
right.
have an apartment? Were you earning enough money to get an apartment in New York?
Yeah, I was, but I mean, it wasn't that expensive. So I was living in Times Square. I was living in the living room, and the other guy had the bedroom, so that made it cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
And the living room was where the poker game was. It was also where my bed was, if you remember.
I do remember.
Yeah. So it was a 1-bedroom. I didn't have the bedroom, and I think it was $1,200 a month.
I do remember that. I remember once you raised me your alarm clock because it was on the right on the end table there.
Yeah.
Do you gamble in Vegas?
I don't anymore. I don't have like I'm not like in Gamblers Anonymous, but I just don't do it anymore. One day in Vegas, I lost $100 and I go, I'm here 4 times a year. I'm not on vacation. I'm working.
Right.
And so I just sort of reframe it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. There's talent that goes to Vegas that they end up owing Vegas money and they have to perform for free.
They used to pay you cash. Do you remember when they'd give you cash at the beginning of the week?
It's in Artie Lang's book. He would go to Vegas for gigs and he would just completely wipe out his whole bank account.
They used to try to pay people in cocaine.
In Vegas?
No, in some of the clubs.
Really?
You would go get paid on Sunday night, and they go, well, would you rather have this?
See, I did a gig in...
And you can't mobile deposit that cocaine.
No,
It's just
you
so
You
complicated.
can't bring it home and hand it to your wife. Look what we got paid.
Depends who your wife is, I suppose. I did a gig in Antwerp, in Belgium, that my old managers got me, and I had to fly there from Spain. And I did the gig, and the guy said, "Oh, we don't pay in cash. We only pay in the open bar."
What?
Oh.
And so I called my managers, and they're like, "I don't know. We can't do anything." So I was furious. So I was like, "I'm gonna drink more than it would have cost them to pay me."
Nice. Good for
And
you.
I
You
wound
rolled
up
with it.
Passing out in the street, and a fan helped me back to my hotel room, and then watched over me. Hopefully, nothing happened. I don't know. But in the morning, he drove me to France.
Wow.
Is
Worked
that
out for
crazy?
you.
That's
Really worked
one of
out
the
for you.
craziest stories.
That's open bar plus travel.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
guy was a fan of mine. He said, "You were passed out in the street. I brought you back to your hotel room. You were able to sort of help me know where it was." I woke up. He was in my hotel room. He said, "I'm just keeping an eye on you that you're okay. Where do you need to go?" I said, "I need to go to England next." He says, "I'll drive you to France, and you can take the ferry."
Wow.
Did you wake up in the shower with him or just...
Yeah, he was giving me a sponge bath.
There's a fine line between caregiver and stalker. It's a very blurred line.
Between I took care of you last night. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's why I carry a fake nurse's badge, just
Yeah.
in case they question me.
Yeah. We have 3 kids together now somehow.
So what were you doing in New York?
I was doing the Gutfeld show.
Yeah.
I've been doing the Gutfeld show, which is like
You're terrific on the Gutfeld show.
Well, thanks,
I've
man.
seen you many times on there.
Yeah.
it's what. Do you want to hear? So I was driving here and I was like, I have to tell you guys this story. So I've been doing comedy for a long time. Did the Tonight Show in 2001. That's how long. Like it's been a while. And I started doing Gutfeld, and I noticed that people are kind of trickling into shows from the Gutfeld show after 20 years of. I had a show on Netflix and nobody came to my shows. You never know what's going to make, but a couple people started coming. And I was Rob Schneider's opener. And my agent, he called me and I was like, what's this number? I don't recognize it. He hadn't talked to me in years. And he goes, hey, your name kind of came up. We want to start headlining you again. So I start headlining, and it's just like whatever they pay you to headline,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
But I'm headlining again. And my first weekend is Raleigh at Goodnights.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's like a legendary
Charlie
club.
Goodnights?
Charlie
Yeah,
Goodnights. I've
Charlie
never
Goodnights.
worked there before. I'm
Yeah.
very excited. And me and my friend are sitting across the table, and it was lunchtime, Friday, and I go, I wonder if anyone's going to come. Like, I've only been on the show 3 times. Like,
Yeah.
I hold hopes that people come, but I don't know. This is really interesting. And he goes, hey, check out the club's website. Maybe there's like a seat map. And I go, sometimes there is.
Yeah.
So I pull up my phone, and it says early show Friday. And as I'm looking at it, it says sold out. A banner goes across the late show that says sold out.
Wow.
And I put my phone down, and I go, dude, I'm not kidding you, Mark. I had like a tear in my eye. Like
Wow, yeah.
it was such a, and I go, I think I might have just sold out. It's like 200 seats. I go, I might have just sold that show. And he's like, dude, he got up, he hugged me. As he's
Wow.
hugging me, my phone rings, and it's my agent. And he goes, hey man, just FYI, you sold 3 tickets to the late show, so we canceled it.
Wow.
But we put it was sold out on the website, so nobody feels bad. I go, I feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a crushing. It was like the 180 of
man.
emotion. The 180 of emotion. It was like this. It was like.
So you got to experience bipolar.
It was like the most devastating, but then almost like we were talking about before we came on the air, like to go back. Yesterday was my, I think, 130th appearance. So that was at 3.
Uh-huh.
And now like to have a week in LA where everything's sold out. It's just, I'm so grateful. I think because
Yeah.
I never got a chance to get bitter. I didn't have that kind of success
Yeah.
where bitter comes with it.
Wow.
So
Well,
I'm
you're so
very
great
happy
on that
for
show.
you.
How does it feel to be so comfortable on a TV show?
It's such a wonderful, because like your first Tonight Show, I think I spent 13 months. They'd come out and watch the 5-minute set.
Yeah.
They'd come out and change the words. And on Gutfeld, I ad-lib a third of the jokes that I do on television. And we're getting 4 million viewers the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
And so you're doing not only brand new material, but sometimes you're doing ad-libs. And I get very stressed that day. I prepare like you would not believe. I write for 7 hours, like the second I know what we're going to talk about. I have 2 friends I call that are like, they write punchlines. I pay them to do a little side job for, so I take it very seriously. But there is something when you walk out of that studio, and you have to expect a few of them will bomb, but you have to just say, hey, this is brand new stuff. But when you do okay or good, there's no feeling
And you
I've
do
ever
very
had like
good.
it.
I've seen you're very humble, but I've seen you do a bunch of these appearances, and not everybody is a comedian on those panels. So when Jamie hits, he crushes, so not because of the fact that they're not comedians, but it's a comedy show, and it shows that he's a comedian. Like when it gets to him, you see the difference between a professional and somebody who's trying to be on a comedy show.
It's kind of a nice format for the comedian, because the comedian is the only one that's kind of like their goal is to be funny. Everyone else, like last night I was on with a judge and then someone that was like a campaign manager, and I think their goal is to get this point across.
Right.
I have never made one point in 130 episodes. Sometimes someone will say something and someone else will go, to your point. No one's ever looked at me and said, to your point.
That's why people come into your show.
To your point, by the way, and I want to say this, and I hope it's okay that
to my
say
point.
this.
Thank you. That felt good.
I told Mark before you got here what a sweet guy you are, and you mentioned that you used to open for Rob Schneider, and when you stopped opening for Rob, I asked you. I said, I'd love to open for Rob Schneider now that you're not doing it, and he put me in touch. It didn't pan out, but how many people would do that? He put me in touch. He put in a word, and he tried to help me do that. So that you don't forget those things, and there are very few people in this business that I've encountered who are as nice and generous as you are. So,
oh, that's nice, man. Mark, because we're both sober. The great thing about not being a blackout drunk anymore is I knew how the story was going to end. I remember what I did, because back in the day, someone would tell you a story. I go, oh no, what did I do? Was I a jerk? Well, that's good. Yeah, but he would love you. So I'm sorry that didn't work out, but yeah, of course, man.
But
it's funny when you said that about you don't know how it's going to work out. When I see people who I haven't seen in a long, long time, from way back before when I was still drinking, when I bump into them or we're talking, I go, do I owe you any?
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amends or anything? Were we okay together?
Yes.
Because you don't know, they're not going to go, look,
Right.
for
Yes.
you, these come out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know that feeling. I have a feeling of just sheer panic when I see someone from over 11 years ago.
The problem with me is that I feel the same way, and I'm sober though.
When you brought up poker, I was like, oh no, I hope I didn't do anything too crazy. Because I remember just back in the day, we would have these crazy nights.
Yeah, but I don't remember much from those nights either.
Well, good. That's good.
So I was a blackout drinker.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one of the great blackout stories of all time, I think. So
does it end with a blackout?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
But and I was sober a long time when this woman walks over to me and she says, hey, Mark, how are you? And I'm sober now for, I don't know, 6-7 years. She goes, how are you? I go, good. And she goes, you don't recognize me, do you? I go, no. She goes, I'm Margaret. I lived with you for a year.
A year?
A year. So now I think she's completely demented, and because I have no recall.
You don't believe her.
Well, I have no recall of her at all. Zero. So I called my friend John. She said it was you, me, and John. So I called John later. I said, remember Margaret? He goes, yeah, she lived with us for a year. No.
Unbelievable.
To this day, zero.
Unbelievable.
That's a blackout.
I blacked out for a night before, Mark. I've never
a whole year.
I've never done a year.
I'll tell you something though. I talked to Mark this morning. He didn't even know that he's on this show.
Unbelievable. Nothing to blame it on.
I thought I was at the Comedy Magic Club tonight.
Dude, Jesse, I don't know if you guys know Jesse Joyce.
No.
I'll tell you
I know
brief.
Jesse,
He has one of my favorite blackout stories of all time. Here's a very brief version of it. So basically, he's going to a club. He's performing that night, but he has a very long drive. He's actually considering he's got like an 11-hour drive. He's got to get up at like 4 a.m. to go to this gig. And he goes, I'm not going to drink tonight. Not going to drink tonight. I got to get up at 4 a.m. I got to go to this gig. Gets to the show, somebody goes, you want a drink? He has a drink. And then he has another one. And then he kind of gets blackout drunk. And you wake up when you've been blacked out drunk, you wake up and you feel too rested. Yeah. Like you're sure there's things on your list that you've not done because he wakes up, he's like, oh no. Like he feels super rested. He's in the hotel room and he's like, I missed the gig. So he's trying to find the phone number to call the people that, like put on the gig or whatever. And then he goes, this is weird. He looks at the door of the hotel. He said, that's what did it for him. He looks at the back of the door of the hotel and he sees like the map on the back and he's like, that's not. And he drove, the line that he says that makes me laugh is he said he drove 11 hours and does not remember. And the line that makes me laugh is he goes, there were 2 rush hours in there. He's like, I was in 2 rush hours and he just was already at the other gig.
Wow.
Does not remember.
Well, we're lucky we caught it.
Yeah.
He's a great writer, Jesse Joyce.
He's the best.
Yeah. He's written on a lot of shows like roasts and I think like those Night of Stars type of shows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's nuts, man. That the year thing is pretty wild though. I lived with a woman for 16 years and I don't remember why.
Why?
Yeah,
why?
I remember, but I don't remember why.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And was that in Alaska that you lived there?
It was Alaska, but also you might have met her. She's a nice girl. We talk all the time still, and we have kids together. But she came to poker, I think, a couple times.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
your ex-wife?
She's my ex-wife. Yeah, yeah.
We
But
used
she's around
we
New
used
York.
to drink pretty heavy at those poker games.
We did. I forgot that there were cards.
Yeah.
Honestly, when you first brought it up.
Yeah.
Playing poker.
And the only one who benefited is my buddy Matty Goldberg, who you met, who would just clean up every single time, and he became like a semi-professional poker player from then till now.
I wonder if the step up in competition was hard for him, that everyone wasn't blackout drunk.
Yeah,
He started playing poker.
We'd all come and get drunk, and he'd just leave with all our money.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you get angry when you lose?
I do not. I am the least competitive. The only competitiveness I've ever felt is watching my son play basketball. If there's like an unsportsmanlike thing, I will become that dad. But scores myself, like I'm not competitive at all.
Well, you said something about your writing. You would write 7 hours or something. That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, I take it very serious. Like we get the topics at 11. Okay, I guess it's 6 hours, and then we go over to the studio at 5:30. And there's almost now every once in a while, if I feel
they
very
give you the topics 11 in the morning.
Yeah, 11 in the morning. And every once in a while, if I feel very confident, I will Peloton for 20 minutes. But most days I write every second. Like I watch my email. Sometimes they're 15 minutes late. I'm the only guy that's like, where are the topics? Because I think other people are also smarter than me. And they are making points that they probably would make with their friends. But, for jokes. And you got to they have a team of writers over there. And so you have to assume your first couple jokes, they might do them. Mm-hmm. And so you have 5 topics. So I try to write 6, 7 jokes per topic in case somebody does one of mine. But yeah, man, I just did. I think I was on yesterday.
That's true when people beat you to the joke.
Yeah,
that you're going to do, and you got to revamp everything.
Yeah, happened like twice yesterday. Happens every night.
Because you can't say, he just did
what he said.
Yeah.
Can I also get those laughs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not like in a situation where you know what they're coming in with at all.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Is there a contract on the show?
So there is you could be a Fox News contributor, in which case you sign a contract and you get a salary and you're required to do X amount of shows per week. You could do Gutfeld, but I have the deal where I come on just to promote my shows and I get flown in. So I am not under contract. I just, every time I leave, I go, oh my God, I did it again.
What a sweet thing.
Yeah. And then they have me. Every time I get the booking, though, I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, you never know.
They do a free ad for you for every show.
Yeah. And they promote your dates. And when I ask people, I run these Instagram and Facebook ads for my shows. Mm-hmm. Every single person says I saw it on Gutfeld.
Sure. Do you get backlash from people for being attached to Fox?
I do. I get some from. I'm very sensitive, Mark. I don't know if you know that about me. Not even kidding. And so comments hurt my feelings and things like that. I've never gotten a negative comment from somebody with my cell phone number, but I've gotten comments from people that are just on Facebook that haven't known me for a while. And across the board, there's nothing I've ever said on there that I wouldn't completely stand behind. But the things people attack me for are things that I've never said or have nothing. I'm not affiliated with what they're coming at me with. I think it's the affiliation with the show.
Both Mark and I have had barrages of people come after us on Facebook for writing I stopped doing it completely. I think Mark has basically stopped now too. But I saw no benefit to my putting opinions on Facebook because I was just losing friends and people got angry at me.
Mm-hmm.
Mark put up a big fight for a while. I mean, commendably, he really stuck to what. I'll let you say it because I'm talking for you, but you stuck to your guns and your opinions. And I read the comments. People left you vicious comments.
Yeah.
And I
My
don't know.
kids-
You
my
took
kids are the
a lot of my kids are the worst.
Sure.
But you took a lot of abuse from people, and it was rough to read them.
One woman wrote to me, "I'm a disgusting, vicious, vile human being," and I liked it.
We lived together for a year.
Yeah, I just give her a like when she wrote that.
Yeah.
Wow. So you do something that I don't know that I could do.
What's that?
I want to see you stare at me one day.
Is it
No,
unicycle?
you travel. Yeah,
I do
You
unicycle.
travel with your fiance
Yes.
everywhere,
Yes.
and you said you love it.
Well, to be clear, we both have a kid situation where we have shared custody of our kids. And so she has her kids every other week. And so I see her every single time she doesn't have her kids, but sometimes I go there. But I see her I don't know. We've been dating for like 3 years, so maybe we're like a new relationship, but I am not good alone. And she comes on the road with me and she does telemedicine on her computer in the hotel room. And then she comes to the show and she actually really helps me with the show. Like, she's very good at she just does some almost like road manager type stuff. Like she'll
Right.
go, hey, he really likes to he doesn't want a chair on stage. Do you have a stool? She does these little things for me. And for some reason, I always grew up thinking comedy was not a real job. I always felt like I was getting away with something. And she's a doctor. So there was always this air of oh, you're a doctor. I'm just a comedian. And she has this belief
Right.
that our job is just as important.
Right.
And yeah, dude, something about I wake up and I can't be. I had a day off in New York the other day, and I had trouble getting out of bed. I
Sure.
get so down, and having her with me, it's just been it's the best.
Why do you get so down? Do you mind exploring that for a minute?
I wish I had a good answer, but it's
You have nothing to do over, son.
yeah, it's almost like you have nothing to do, and then I think it's been harder since I met my fiance because everywhere I go, we've been there together. I know I sound like a loser right now, but I do have trouble sometimes, and I sometimes go, here are the 10 things that make me feel better. I'll go to my sauna place, I'll do the Peloton. It doesn't work. I still feel the same way. And I did all the things, so that gets a little frustrating. I think it's just living out of a
doubt,
suitcase.
It's nice to share places you're going with somebody else, as opposed to just yourself.
Yeah.
Because I travel by myself, and I come home and I don't even tell her what I saw.
Right.
What am I going to say? I went to
Yeah.
But when you're together,
Yeah. It's like the show isn't the only reason we're there.
No.
It's not like the whole when I'm on the road, I'm like, okay, we got the show tonight. But when I'm with her, I go, oh yeah, and there's also a show. And then we're going to go to dinner afterwards, or we're going to do.
I don't like to bring my wife with me to shows because she leaves with another guy.
Yeah, I would
You
I
don't
would
have that
stop
problem?
too.
Yeah.
Not so far.
Not yet.
Yeah. We met at her boyfriend's show though. He was headlining.
I used to bring
No, I'm just kidding.
my wife to shows before we had kids. Now it's not so feasible, but I loved having her there. It was. I remember I brought her even on my podcast interviews from my old podcast when I would travel to do an interview. Like I'd drive to go interview Shecky Green or Marty Allen, one of these old timers. She liked to meet them, and then when we went to do. I interviewed Gad Elmaleh, the French comedian,
Sure, I know him.
at the Chateau Marmont,
Sure.
in his hotel room, and he says, about my wife. Oh, what is this? And I'm like, oh, it's my wife. She wanted to come along for the interview. He goes, I could never do this. I could never take my wife around to do comedy stuff with me. I'd be like, why are you here? I was like, well, I
He
like
does not
having her
believe
there.
in marriage. Because he came to see a show that Seinfeld were doing, and God knows Jerry very well, and
Yeah.
God could not stop talking how insane we were to be married.
Hmm.
That there's so many women still available.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's a solid point.
What did you both reply to that? What did?
we laughed,
Yeah.
because we both enjoy being married.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, sometimes I think about with Seinfeld. I mean, he's the biggest star, and he's a handsome fella. Women must must be so easy for him if he wanted to.
Could be.
Kind of he's almost a saint that he's able to keep a marriage together like that.
He does a good job.
Yeah.
We when we go out together, no women ever come near us, and hotels we never sit down and chat with anybody.
Right.
We just keep moving along.
Yeah, because I mean, even me being a heavy fella, every now and then I get a woman who's interested, and I'm married, and I don't do anything, but I think, wow, what if I was famous? What if I was Seinfeld famous? What if I was in good shape and I was Seinfeld famous? How hard would that be? It must be a challenge, and he's almost like godlike to be able to.
To his credit, he's strong in that way.
Yeah, very
It's a
strong.
good thing.
Don't you also I feel like you build this relationship with this person. There's this context, there's this backstory where even with our jobs, like where they saw us go from something to something else or back
Right.
down or whatever.
Right.
And when I see I had a girl on an airplane. I told my fiance all about this. I couldn't believe she was hitting on me. She was like a beautiful dancer from Vegas and was like, she was a little bit drunk and she was like, oh, do you like music? And she's like, oh my God, those are nudes on my phone. It was like the most, but I don't even have the part of my brain that has any interest in someone, especially like that. Where like if you're coming on to me in 2 seconds, like what type of person is this?
Right.
But I need that context of the relationship for it to be a joy for me. I need someone to come that's been through if I met a girl now, I don't know if I could ever explain to her about the Raleigh sold out show that was not really sold out. I don't know if she'd ever get it,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
I also think
I mean, I'm very lucky. I'm very blessed. I have a wife who I love, and it makes it much easier.
Helps.
But not everybody has such a good relationship, and some people don't have my wife, so
Right.
it's like
That's the big part.
it's got to be very, very tough for some people.
So your fiance doesn't drive you nuts at all?
She doesn't not at all. It's
You're not from this planet.
I can't stand people chewing,
yet,
and I can
it's
stand
so
her
funny.
chewing.
So much of your material was about wife stuff.
Yeah.
And what drove you nuts about her.
Yes.
And here, this woman doesn't do any of those things.
It's why I don't have a new hour, Mark.
As soon
I
as
have no
as
material.
soon as he marries her, though.
By the
then-
way, your dry bar was just great.
Oh, thank you. Want to hear something weird?
It's not you.
My ex-wife, I found out that she wanted to get a divorce. It wasn't my idea. And I found out we were getting a divorce and we were separated and she was probably going to marry this other guy. It was tough. And I had to do that dry bar. It was all my married material. So I had to pretend I was married. That whole set was after I found out all this stuff. So I had to do that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm
Wow.
never doing these jokes again. This is the last time.
Once again, I have a very similar thing happened. My father died, and a week later, I had to do a Showtime special from Lake Tahoe.
Oh,
And I talk about my father in the act a lot. And he's alive in the act.
right.
I can't open that show up there and go, my father died a week ago, so I just want to tell you all the stuff you hear isn't really true.
Right.
You do it.
Yeah.
And it was
It's tough.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough.
So that drive-by special, so clean, which you have to be for drive-by, right?
Yes.
The Mormons, right?
Yes. Extremely clean. Yeah.
Yeah,
They called me and they go, we want you to do this thing. And I go, have you guys seen my clips online? Are you guys out of people?
right.
I didn't know if I could do it, but I was really glad I did I don't know if I told they asked me what I wanted to call the special. And I go, there was a conference call afterwards. They were putting it on Amazon. We need a title. And I go, what if we call it Jamie Lissow Tries Not to Say the F Word for an hour?
Right.
And they go, no, we're not. That's a
Did
terrible
some of
thing.
those routines have the F word or words in there that you plucked out?
After I did it, I stopped using extra F words because I realized I didn't need them.
Right.
And I'm actually I'm right now in a concerted effort. I'm not perfect, but I'm right now trying not to do any extraneous F-bomb. If it's really important to the joke, I maybe do one or two, but I used to kind of say it all the time. And then one day my manager was like, you're not a dirty comic. Would you consider, I'm not trying to push you to be something you're not. If you were Nikki Glazer, I wouldn't say, hey, let's do a G-rated show. He's like, but you don't talk about anything. And so I started doing it. I like it.
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
Yeah. I
Is it more
work.
challenging?
It was, and now it's almost second nature. Now it feels
Right.
weird to
They
go the
start
other way.
thinking like that, right?
Mhm.
Which is the same with me. You had one joke in there that just, I can't stop laughing. They have to teach a gynecologist not to smile.
Oh yeah.
It's a quick thing.
Yeah.
I just, I'm thinking about it now. It's such a great joke.
Yeah. So there's a whole year of gynecology school if you're a male gynecologist where they teach you to just keep it together.
Yeah.
Today we're going to learn how to not smile and act like you've been there.
Yeah. Right.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I when I started doing stand up a long time ago, I was like, I'm gonna work clean because I was very inspired by Seinfeld and he was clean, so I was like, I want to be clean. And then I started watching other people, and then I started maybe I'll curse a little bit. I got very into Carlin, and I was like, let me put in a curse here for emphasis and there, and then it was kind of like. It's kind of like drinking in a way where like you were saying like, oh, I could have one or two drinks
and then
the next thing you know, I recorded my first album. I listened back to it and it was like F, 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 F. And I listened to it. I said, this is terrible. So I got sober from the cursing. I was
nice.
Just like,
you did it?
I just cut them all out. I just said, it's
Cold
become
turkey?
a crutch. I don't like it.
You just one day, the next day you said
After
no F
I
words?
heard that album, I was just like, I'm not doing any more cursing in my act because I listened to it and I was embarrassed by how much I was leaning on it. So
on Gutfeld, I noticed a couple of times they bleep things out. You said,
yeah,
so
Gutfeld.
Why do you do it on there?
So on there, every once in a while, I think it's really fun. I'm the dirtiest guy on Gut, even though it's TV.
Right.
I constantly get that but I feel like that might be why people want to see me also, because I'm not like super, super clean and safe. And so every once in a while, I do enjoy an F word that I know will be bleeped.
And they're okay about that?
Yeah, and they don't mind at all.
That's great.
Yeah.
You're a lucky guy.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I don't. It's kind of a fun knowing it's going to be bleeped. You get a big laugh in the studio audience, and then you go, as long as it makes sense. Like as long as it's just
absolutely.
That. How long does the taping take?
It's pretty quick. It's like 45 minutes.
Really?
So the commercial breaks are like 4 minutes in real time, and we do them in like a minute.
Okay.
Just in and out, and there's no editing. It's basically like a delayed live show.
What if there was something you wanted edited out? Would they do that?
They would do that.
Yeah.
They would do that. I remember this one time. I won't say the comedian's name. You guys know him. He's hilarious, but he's not the best ad-libber. Like, it's got to be prepared. And I remember Greg goes, hey, what do you think about, like, they had gone to him and he did his joke, and then they went back to him and they go, hey, what do you think about this part? And he goes, I don't have anything prepared for that.
Wow, yeah.
And it was just super awkward. And Greg's like, don't worry, I can edit that out.
Yeah.
And it just didn't air. So they're very kind. If you need them to edit something out, they're happy to.
You've been on with a lot of different people. Who have been some notable people who were interesting to be on panel with?
I was on with Roseanne.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was amazing.
Mark worked for her.
She was great.
Yeah, I wrote for her on. She had a talk show.
Oh, I remember her talk show. You wrote for that?
Yeah.
What did she like to work with?
She was terrific to work with, and she gave you free range, but she's insane.
Yeah, I loved her, but yeah, she's insane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She would,
Okay.
she would study with a rabbi. Would come in and they would study together, and as soon as he leave, he would eat a pork chop.
Wow, I don't even write a set list.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a lot of prep.
Yeah, but she was great, and listen, she's so funny, and she knows jokes, and it was
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, go on.
I was going to say, I love, don't know if you'd know them, but I love Emily Campagna is a regular guest. And there are certain people when I'm on with them, I just know it's going to be a good show, like 100%, because she has such a great, genuine laugh. And even when you're bombing with the crowd, like when I see that she's on, just everything goes away, all the
good.
nerves. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. You weren't there when Trump was on, were you?
I was there the night after.
Okay.
And it was nuts. Even the night before, it was crazy. It was like, wasn't that far. I did the RNC a week after the assassination attempt, and that was crazy. Like hundreds of Secret Service like patting us down. We did a live show in Milwaukee, and it was almost like that. Like it was they were just like real scared at that time, and they weren't telling anyone that Trump was on. And I'm like, I think I know who's on tomorrow. I don't think Russell Brand has 20 Secret Service agents. We all sort of figured it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I missed him by one day.
Wow.
So I want to talk about Alaska. I've been there 6-7 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you doing up there? Doing shows?
Sometimes shows, and then sometimes we cruised. I went with my
Nice.
family on a cruise once in a while. I used to do cruises 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I hated it.
It's awful.
Awful.
It's terrible.
It's a metaphor for just floating through life.
Yeah.
Waste.
Yeah, and you don't have you don't have internet or phone like you would. So you're just completely separated from everybody. It feels like turning comedy into a factory job or something to me.
Yeah,
It just felt like,
the internet thing, and sometimes I get to these towns and you got to go 2 miles to find a phone
yeah,
set up there.
got to use like a phone card. It's like
Yeah.
the 1980s.
I'll tell you what happened to me. I went to Jamaica on a cruise, and I always call my wife. You know, whenever I landed, I tried to give her a call, and none of the phones in the island on the island of Jamaica would work with a credit card or a phone card because they've been ripped off so much.
Hmm.
So I'm at this phone. I'm trying this. Jamaican guy comes over to me and he says, "Man, you want to make a phone call?" So I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I'll do it for you." And he figured out some amount of money I'm going to pay him, and he would do it for.
Mhm.
So I'm talking to my wife. We're about 3 minutes in. He goes, "That's another $20." So I said to him, "Leave me alone, would you? I just gave you money." And he goes, "No, I need more money." And my wife is listening to this, and he starts yelling at me, the guy, and takes the phone and hangs it up.
Wow.
And my wife now, I can't call her from the.
Oh my
island.
God.
Can't call her back.
She thinks you might be dead or
Yeah.
something.
Oh,
So
wow.
she doesn't hear from me for like 5 hours because I can't make a phone call on the island. It was so
Oh
bizarre.
my God.
And she's sitting there going, "He was killed."
Oh my God. That's horrible. On
She
the other end
moved
of
on
that call.
really fast too.
Yeah.
But 5 hours later, she's like, "I'm sorry. I thought it was." I've got a new guy now, and
Wow. So Alaska. I mean, listen. I don't know what town were you in?
I live in Fairbanks.
Okay,
Yeah, still live there.
it's gorgeous.
It's a beautiful. Yeah, Fairbanks is not the most beautiful
Right.
in the city. You could drive away certainly,
Right.
and it's beautiful. But it's like a little, kind of just a little town. We don't have a Target, but we have a Walmart.
Right.
You know?
I was telling Danny, people in Alaska don't seem to have accents.
No,
No.
Is it the weather? It's too cold for an
I
accent?
don't know. It's certainly resilient. It's resilient people with no accents.
Yeah, because nobody could hear you and go, Alaska, right? Alaska?
You're 100% right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's very far away.
It's like the only place I've ever seen where nobody.
Sometimes if you're visiting me there, you can sense a shiver in my voice, but it's not really an accent.
I just did this thing, Comedy Fantasy Camp, where Leno and Carolla and myself and a few other comedians mentor some people who like want to be a comedian for a weekend.
Yeah,
And one of the guys in my group was from Alaska.
really.
And he said, "Oh, there's nowhere to do comedy in Alaska." I said, "Well, that's not true, because I know a guy who was married to someone whose family owns a comedy club in Alaska." Thinking of you. And he goes, "Well, there's 2 comedy clubs in Alaska, and they're very far away from each other, and the roads are treacherous, and you can't get." I mean, what do you do with the roads and stuff in Alaska? Is that accurate?
Yeah, truthfully, even when I said they owned a comedy club, that was probably just to be quick about it. It's actually just comedy being performed in a place that is a crazy bar every other night of the week. So it was always just like sort of a comedy night in the back of a club.
Okay.
But where I am, we got plowed roads, stuff like that. But I do have like my kid went to play with a friend from school the other day. And he goes, "Yeah, I meet you at the end of this road. I take him on the snowmobile or the 4-wheeler. Like you can't drive your car in. They bring everything in."
Wow.
I've been jogging. I was jogging. I wasn't joking about unicycling. I used to snow unicycle. Like I used to ride a mountain bike tire unicycle through, it's ridiculous, through these trails. And often I would be passed by families on dog sleds going to their villages with all their stuff. And the only way to get to them is these little trails. Fastest way is to do it on a dog sled.
Now, what kind of family? White people? Or
It's mostly natives.
natives.
Yeah. I remember I was with my dog and the dog sled team went by and I looked at my dog. I go, "That's what you could have been that. You could have done that. You could do so much more."
Yeah,
You
lazy.
have
Did you
a
ever
job.
see the silent movie Eskimo?
I don't think so.
Oh, you ever get a chance, you got to see this thing. I think because
All right. I'm in. I'm always looking for a new movie.
it's easy to remember, right?
Yeah.
Eskimo,
Yeah. How long ago?
1919, 1920.
All right.
It's amazing.
Okay.
It's about these these white guys come, and they end up kidnapping some of the native women, bringing them back to America.
Oh, wow.
Really quite extraordinary.
I should have brought my Alaskan girl back to America. Would have cut down the travel.
Yeah.
So I could have based them out of here somewhere. That's the only part that's very difficult is like I sometimes go to Alaska. I go Alaska, New York 4 times a month sometimes.
Because of Gutfeld.
Yeah, because Gutfeld. So sometimes a kid. You know what? I flew on an American flight today. I got the free upgrade. You know, sometimes you get the free upgrade, and it was a bed. It was a bed. Have you ever had that?
No.
I've only had this once in my whole life. You press a button and you can lay. And I was like, if I could do this, man, if I could do this all the time, it would be a whole different.
I flew back from Africa on a bed.
They woke me up when we landed. I go, let me sleep 15 more minutes.
Yeah, give me
15 more. It was so comfortable.
It is amazing. Although I found that it's kind of a little restricting, like almost coffin-like sometimes. It's real thin, and you got to put your feet in this hole.
Yes.
I don't think I'd fit in one of those beds. I don't think so. I'm not kidding. I really don't think I would fit in one of those beds.
You're a little large for one of those beds.
I don't think they have a bigger size bed, too.
I think it was a twin.
Yeah, it's just a small person bed. They don't have big people beds.
No, it was a cot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the original first class bed. They just have a cot in the aisle.
Maybe on the Hawaiian Airlines they have bigger beds.
Wow.
For the Samoans.
So what did you do growing up as a kid in Alaska?
So I grew up in New York and then moved to Alaska due to my ex-wife was born there.
I see.
Or like moved there when she was 2 or something. So I was a New York guy until I was about, I think we moved there like after I've been doing comedy for a little while. You know, speaking of the fiance traveling with me, I also think I'm doing this thing where I recognize the mistakes that I made in my marriage and I do not want to do them again. And I think one of them is, I think a lot of times guys will separate their jobs from their marriage so much that it becomes this other world. Like you have people from, especially with comedy, you have, sometimes our job seems really fun and your wife's at home with a kid. You're like, oh, I'm doing a gig in Honolulu. And they're going like, wow, this guy. And I think I used to have a thing with my ex-wife where whenever I'd get really good news, I remember one of my not favorite examples, but I remember it so distinctly was when I got my Netflix show, like all we want is to be on TV, and to get a call saying you're in a season of a Netflix show. I remember being so excited and then so scared to tell her.
Right.
Because I knew for her it would be bad news. It's like me going like, I'm going to leave for 4 months. She didn't have the part where it was like, I'm excited for you. And I know that's why. It was just like, to her, how tough does that make her life? So every time I had good news, I felt like it was bad news. And so with my current girl, I feel like I've really done a pretty good job of making her part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And part of the
agree with you.
decisions and
I
stuff.
can't call my wife, and when the kids were little and there was vomit all over the house.
Yes.
And she goes, I'm busy. How are you? I can't go. They got a tub in here that is so big.
Yes.
It's jacuzzi in the room, and I got a view of the ocean and maid service. They just keep coming in and out all day. You just can't do that.
Yeah. And you can't complain about anything. You know, she's like, oh, the kids are screaming and crying. And I'm like, listen to this. My male gynecology joke didn't get a laugh.
Yeah, no,
They don't care.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
How many times did I call my wife? I'm putting them to bed. That's
Yeah.
can't talk. No, you can't share your day when you're living like that. She's much more receptive now to kids out of the house. Tired.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How's that feeling? Because I'm many years from it, but my son just turned 16, and it's as they say, he is driving. He actually dropped me off at the airport on my way out of town. It was really, really cool. It was a coincidence. He's an Uber driver. It was a coincidence.
Yeah, that is.
But it's wild seeing them grow up. I can't imagine. Like, I feel like being on the road, that empty nest thing might be better because then they can come visit me and stuff. But I always say I don't want my kids to. They talk about kids are staying at home longer.
Right.
I'm like, I don't ever want my kids to move out. I mean, truthfully, I don't live there. It's my ex-wife.
Yeah.
But I like having them around. I like they become so dependent on their friends, and you don't hang out as much. And I don't know, when they leave, is there like a
So when they were little, and I went on the road and I had to leave the family, I started putting pictures like in a hotel room, like 3 pictures of them, and I had to take them down, the picture. It was too heartbreaking.
Too
I'll
painful.
bet. I'll bet.
Yeah.
It was like watching a movie about a comedian. I'm just sitting in some beautiful hotel crying.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I am so glad they're gone. I can't tell you. I've never been happier in my entire life.
Didn't see that turn coming,
Little
did you?
bastards out of the house.
Well, good for you.
They just caused me so much, they're hungry all the time.
Yeah.
They need this and take me here. It's over.
And you're happy for your wife, too, because she doesn't have to.
Now, the good news is letting them go is a big deal because they will be happier if you make their departure easy and don't cling to them.
Right.
My kids never said, just leave us alone already. You know, stop
Right.
calling. We're adults now.
Yep.
Just don't do that.
You got to hold on loosely.
Yeah, yeah, and they'll always know you care, and you're there for them. You let them know that, and they have their lives. And my kids are all working. They all have good jobs.
Solid.
It's unbelievable. It's a major accomplishment.
Yeah, yeah. It is a big deal.
is.
The only thing I'm stuck doing about them is I still pay the T-Mobile family plan.
Okay.
You got to get
stuck
out of
with
that.
It looks like the rest of my life. They're never going to pay a phone bill.
Right.
Me,
It's you.
yeah.
You set a precedent, and you
Yeah.
never went away.
So I'm willing to do that.
Well, what about when they have kids that have? That's when you'll be out of it. When their kids need phone plans and they have to make their own T-Mobile.
You'll have the
family
T-Mobile extended family plan.
There you go.
At that point.
Yeah.
They'll somehow weasel their way in.
yeah.
My son is an agent at CAA.
Come on.
Yeah, big agent.
Do you know
there.
who just signed with CAA yesterday?
Biden.
I do.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he's going to remake Cocoon.
That's right. Yeah. They already booked him 3 appointments at a neurologist.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And he went back today to sign again because he forgot he was there yesterday.
CAA is a fake agency. I thought my agent had trouble booking me. This guy.
Yeah.
Going to be
Why
interesting.
do you think they signed him?
It's fascinating to me.
It is because he can't write an autobiography because he can't remember anything.
I heard he's going to
leave himself out of his own book. You know that. He's not gonna,
Do you know he's got the only autobiography that's ghostwritten?
wow.
I'm sorry.
He's got a book coming out called "If I Did It."
I heard he's going to book all his gigs, and at the last minute, Kamal's going to do them without asking the audience.
Yeah.
You're going to put her in?
So what do you think they want from him?
I find it fascinating. I feel like CAA, I love CAA. I talk to a guy over CAA all the time. They're not my agent, but they're wonderful people. They're like they're the number one agency. And I feel like maybe there's a little bit of, they handled a lot of Obama stuff. They handled a lot of Michelle Obama stuff. Maybe there's like a little connection there. And it's some good press. I guess press couldn't hurt. It's all over the news that he's with CAA. And also, I would imagine his fees. What do you think Biden gets? Like 100, 150 a show?
Yeah.
150 a thing?
But he can't give talks.
No.
I mean, he may get it.
Maybe just meet and greet. Just so you go meet him.
Yeah.
How
And you
painful
greet
would
him.
it be to sit there and listen to him give a speech for an hour about all his accomplishments?
I can't imagine anyone going.
No.
He said he would meet people after the show, even if they'd passed away. He said he'd still shake
No,
their
I didn't
hands.
know
Yeah,
that.
he said he'd
Yeah.
shake hands with these people.
So I wish
I
him
don't
luck.
know. But that's cool by your son, man. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, and I know he's a good agent because he never returns my calls. So there you go.
Have you guys ever heard that story? I don't know what made me think of it, but there's a story of this guy like kills at the Laugh Factory, and he's going back to his he's going out to the lobby or whatever, and this guy, and he just like destroys, has like the set of his life, and this guy goes up to him and he goes, dude, you're amazing. I'm with 3 Arts or whoever,
Yeah.
and he goes, I'd love to. We should sit down and talk. And the guy's like, and the guy goes, you're my manager. It's a true story.
Yeah.
He had already been represented by them. He's like, I'm with you guys. You just never call me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just
Wow.
forget
I know
about
who
people.
that happened to.
Really?
I think it was Mark Weiner.
It could be Mark Weiner.
Yeah, because Weiner told his father that story,
I think that's him.
and his father said, "Get away from this guy.
That's the best.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Fire this guy."
That's so funny.
My kids, your kids ever come see you work?
What would
They have never come to me work, but I just booked a show in Fairbanks, Alaska that's a family-friendly show. My kids are going to come for the first time.
Are you nervous?
I'm so nervous.
Yeah.
I can't even think about it.
You think
Yeah.
they'll heckle you?
They might heckle me. I have done, on the cruise ship, you do some family shows.
Yeah.
But it's not really, you're doing a show for kids. They just might bring their kids. So you're just doing like a
Right.
G-rated show. So I have done some of that stuff, done some fun stuff with kids, brought them on stage. But, I'm
Yeah.
definitely nervous. Because what if you always got to worry about the one friend of yours that knows you're a comedian that sees you do badly once. And they're like,
Right.
this is why Jamie's not a lawyer?
Right.
This is what he's doing?
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
want to
yeah.
have that good, but I
That's an
think
amazing story about you. You went to law school for 1 week.
I did. I went to law school for 1 week.
It's an unbelievable thing. And
You-
then
Yeah.
you pay for the whole year?
So this is wild. I don't think they do like this anymore. My son for Father's Day got me that. Have you seen that book where it says like, Dad, I want to hear your story? And it's a bunch of questions about you
Yeah.
growing up and you fill it out and you give it to your kid. I was writing that, trying to finish it. And I wrote this story, and only writing it did I realize how insane and rare it is. And I tell it all the time because it's just what happened to me. But as I was writing it, I was like, now that I'm a dad, this is so crazy. I was in law school. I went for a week. I got a piece of paper that said, you can drop out if you want to. We allow all students to kind of like make a different decision, and you don't know anything.
Wow.
And they go, if you do stay, this is what it's going to cost, and this is what your financial aid. So I remember looking at the paper going, if I become, and I'd done like 2 comedy shows or something. If I'm a lawyer, I owe $250,000. If I become a comedian, I start up $250,000. If I do comedy, I got to pay off this loan, right? Like if I do it. And so I remember going, I think I should wait or something. And I went home. I'd moved in apartment. You get your apartment, your books. I bought all my books. Yeah. And my dad was sitting on the couch. And I just remember walking in, and I didn't talk to him about that much stuff. And I remember just going, I don't know what to do. I don't think I want to go to law school. I think I want to try to be a comedian. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what happens. And he, without thinking for 1 second or talking to my mom, goes, I love it. Let's go get your stuff.
Wow.
He goes, I always thought you were a little bit too nice to be a lawyer. I didn't know if it was your personality. He goes, comedian, let's go get your stuff.
Wow.
And we went and got it. And only looking back do I realize what horrible parenting that is. Like, you should.
The worst.
But honestly, when I think about it, I go, I don't know that I could do that with my kid. And I don't think it was some belief that he thought I was going to make it and be funny. I don't know what it was.
Why do you think it's horrible parenting? Maybe, I mean, I'm sure you're right because it's your perspective on your parents, but on some level, I kind of think it's great because he was so supportive of you.
Yes. And I think I am joking about horrible parenting.
But like, man, because he thought that you couldn't make it through law school either. No. He really, somehow he understood this was a dream that was worth following.
Yeah. And like, when I was writing that entry, I had this was just a couple months ago. So like things are like looking up, and we're selling and I remember thinking, if he did not do that, I don't know if I ever do one comedy show.
Sure.
I'm sure I'm not on Gutfeld. I think it was like that one little moment. Mm-hmm. Just think about how things could go so differently.
Little turn. Is he still alive?
He is not. He passed away a lot while I was in college.
Did he know?
I had done a couple shows. He never saw me do like a paid gig, I would say. Never saw me do a real gig. But
my father, both my parents are gone, but they did see one night I did Radio City Musical.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, and that was
great show.
That's what killed them, actually.
Well, I'll tell you what was great about the show. I was opening the show for Kenny Loggins. Him?
Yeah, of course.
Sure. So they have the local DJ out introducing. Hey, this is so and so from WPLT. How are you?
Yeah.
And then he starts introducing me, and the mic goes dead.
Oh no!
Now, and he wants me to come out.
It's packed, right?
Almost. It holds 5,000. Maybe there's 3,800.
Wow!
So he goes, March shift, and I go.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I don't go. They take a 15-minute pause to fix the mics. And now they introduced me. The place is packed.
Yeah.
The seat is filled.
Wow.
They're raring to go.
Nice.
So it was that 15-minute pause that made all the difference.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you standing up for yourself there.
Wow.
I remember my kids come to see me. Well, what can you do?
Yeah.
You can't go out to 5,000 people with no mic. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Right.
It was the right thing to do. One night my parents came to see, and my kids came to see me, and there was like a couple thousand people, and it was a great show. And my son looks at me after and goes, how do you think it went? What do you mean, how do you think it went?
He's going to be a good agent. Is that the same kid that's the agent?
I can't remember which one said it. But yeah, I think it was.
It might be.
Yeah.
Might be.
How do you think it went?
Yeah.
So wait, great. What do you mean, how did it go?
So did he say, yeah, it did? Or
that's
what?
Great.
Yeah.
Did he agree, I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's good.
I think they're amazed. And when your kids tell their other kids that their father's a comedian, it's very impressive to other kids.
They like that part of it.
It's up there with
nobody else's father does what you do.
It's
up
like
there
that.
with firefighter, like or astronaut for it's like a job that a kid would imagine themselves for, but never usually do.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. How old are the three of them?
How the kids? 16, 13, and 10. Mm-hmm. Good kids, man. I feel like my little one, he's got next level comedy. The little one, since he was a little kid. He used to spill, when he was 5 years old, I got a video where he drinks water, he spills a little bit, and then does like a giant fall.
Wow.
At 5 years old. We were in bed the other night. I let him sleep in my big bed with me. And my daughter, he's 8 years old at the time, and she tells this story. Adam Sandler's one of my favorite jokes. He says, they say with kids, it goes by so fast. He's like, yeah, unless they're telling you a story.
Right.
That's when it slows down. And my daughter's telling the longest story. Just kept going and going and going. And then she finishes, and my son goes, if that story was a movie, it would be called The Never-Ending Story.
Wow.
I go, this is a roast. He's turned this in. It's an 8-year-old. And I remember being like, you can't laugh, but that's like going for a joke. He like went for a joke. And I noticed that in him.
Listen to this. I have 2 daughters. One of them is 5, and the next one down, she's 3. So the 5-year-old one made a piece of artwork, and we put it up on the fridge. And the 3-year-old daughter comes in, and my wife is there, and she goes, "What's that on the fridge?" She goes, "Oh, that's your sister made that artwork. Isn't it beautiful?" She looks at it. She rips it off the fridge. She tears it into pieces, crumples them up, and throws it in the garbage and walks out of the kitchen.
Wow.
And we're like, what was that? So we talked to her and said, you shouldn't do that. Say you're sorry. And she said she's sorry. The next day, which was yesterday, she walks into the fridge with her own piece of artwork, puts it up with the magnet where her sister's art was on the fridge.
Wow.
Like claimed the territory.
Wow.
Is that crazy?
Wow.
I don't
That's
know what
confidence.
to make of that, but it's just like my art should be in that spot. I'm gonna
She's
take care
5?
of this. She's 3.
3.
Wow.
She might be an agent.
Yeah,
She might grow up to be an agent.
she's like
They like to do that. They take your work and replace it.
she's like that real estate I'm gonna claim on the fridge.
What's the difference between a boy and a girl? In your family, like raising them.
It's I do feel very much like I'm a bit of the go-to expert for boys, and then girls, I just don't know.
Right.
I get a lot from my ex-wife. She'll call me and go, I'm worried. She's all emotional, and this is going on. And then I go, I don't see that. When she comes over here, like it's all good. So I don't know if she's not comfortable.
It's a different relationship too between daughters and their fathers and daughters and their mothers.
Yeah, I go, she smiles more when she's here. Maybe that's because I'm funnier.
My 5-year-old, whenever I'm not home, my wife tells me, "Oh, she was crazy. She was going nuts with me." Never see it.
Do you think they're all just making it up to make it seem harder?
Yeah,
because they know we're with that hot tub
friend
on the
of mine
road.
had a ton of girls, and he had to put on extra strong hinges on their doors
from slamming.
Yeah. He had to buy these really thick steel hinges, but
So
they kept breaking the doorposts.
That's really funny.
Wow.
What do you think would have happened, by the way, going back to your story with, I guess it was Mark Weiner, who the agent comes up and says, "You were great, I'd like to represent you." What if he would have said, "Sure, let's take a meeting and let it play out"?
He should have.
Right? Like take the meeting, have him sign them all over again, get a better contract this time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You ever get excuses from agents, like why they didn't send you out for things? You call them and talk to them about it?
Yeah, I feel like I went through. It's funny. I've never been in the position I'm in right now. That's why it took me a minute to answer.
Yeah.
I've never been in this position where they answer my call every time, which is happening right now.
Right.
But it talked to me 2 years ago through the first 20 years of my career.
The assistant picks up and puts you through.
Yeah. Do you ever notice that? I was with Dave Becky for a while.
Sure, I know Dave.
Dave Becky. He's got Kevin Hart and Dave Chappelle for anyone listening to that. And I remember you are with Dave Becky after like Montreal or something. And then you notice that like, oh, Shannon's been picking up lately instead of Dave Becky. And then Shannon's assistant, you slowly get moved down the line. And all of a sudden you go, I haven't spoken to this guy in years.
You're talking to someone next door in Alaska at some point.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, we're going to thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Good hanging.
Do you want to wrap? Do you want to plug anything as we wrap up here?
What do you got in 2027?
2027, hopefully something. Every year I wonder if it's going to keep going.
Yeah.
You're so funny.
When do you guys air your episodes usually?
This will air in 2027.
No,
I think, right?
a couple weeks.
A couple weeks. I got some shows coming. I actually had my first. I just started in a couple theaters, and I just had a pretty good result at a theater in Scottsdale, Arizona, in February, where we added a show. So we added a theater show. I sold out the first one, so I got that. I got some going to Albuquerque. I'm all over the place. I got a new thing going in Vegas. I'm there every 3 months. Over at Kimmel's.
Let me tell you exactly when this will air. This will air on February 26th.
Well, anyone listening, you just missed my sold out show in Scottsdale.
Wow.
It was last week. You could have been there. I think I'm in Albuquerque, doing a big North Carolina thing. I'm all over the place. My website, as always, is robschneidersfriend.com.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
You still talk to Rob?
I do. We talk. We probably talk at least once a week. We used to talk every day.
I'd be very happy.
And he's the best, man. Rob's the best. We did Gutfeld together a couple times. Super fun.
That's awesome.
Super fun. He's a great dude. He's killing it right now. He is. I don't know if anybody's selling. He still likes to do the clubs. He'll do theaters, but he loves it. I don't know if there's anybody that sells more tickets to comedy clubs than Rob right now. He is top of his game.
He's amazing.
I saw somebody heckled him the other day. I saw a video of that.
Oh yeah.
Wow. All right. I'm. You can find my stuff at fairenoughcomic.com. My comic books about my life, and I'm on X at Daniel Lobel. I'm on Instagram at Daniel Lobel. Follow the show. Mark, what about you?
MarkShift.com. That's all I got today.
MarkShift.com. Follow our show. The show is on Instagram. We Think It's Funny podcast. We're on X. We're on TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get podcasts. Tell people about us and leave us a nice review. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. And we'll see you next time with another episode of We Think It's Funny. Until then, bye-bye.